Today, I want to talk about a plant that I think is perfectly designed for life in a small space. It's cute, compact, easy to care for, and even a little quirky. I'm talking about the Pilea peperomioides, also known as the Chinese money plant. This is one of those rare plants that checks all the boxes for tiny home living, and today, I'm going to tell you why. Let's start with its size. One of the biggest challenges in a tiny home is floor space. Everything counts. Every piece of furniture, every object. It has to earn its keep, and that's why I love the Pilea. It doesn't sprawl or vine out like a pothos or monstera. Instead, it grows in this neat, upright, self-contained little bundle. It can thrive in a small pot and still look full and lush. Even a 4-inch pot can hold a pretty mature plant, which means it fits perfectly on narrow shelves, small windowsills, or tiny corners that need a little life. Now let's talk about light. In a tiny home, you may only have a few windows, and depending on your layout, light can be limited. Pileas do best in bright, indirect light, but they're surprisingly adaptable. If you have a sunny windowsill, perfect. If not, you can rotate it every few days to make sure all sides get enough light. One fun thing about Pileas is that they're heliotropic, meaning they actually turn their leaves toward the light. So if you ever notice your plant looking a little lopsided, just give the pot a spin and watch it adjust on its own over the next couple days. Let's talk aesthetics for a second, because let's be honest, in a small space, every item is part of the decor, whether you like it or not. That's another reason I love the Pilea. It's just adorable. The round pancake-like leaves look modern and a little retro at the same time. It has a sculptural quality to it, almost like living art. And it plays well with all kinds of interior styles, from Scandinavian to boho to minimalist. So it adds greenery and style without being overwhelming. Okay, so it's small, stylish, and light-friendly. But what about care? One of the biggest reasons I recommend this plant for tiny home dwellers, especially beginners, is that it's low maintenance. Water it when the top inch of soil feels dry. That's it. No fancy humidity setups, no misting, no drama. In fact, the biggest mistake people make with Pileas is overwatering. So if you're living tiny and busy, this is a plant that can forgive a missed watering or two. It's also pest resistant, which is a huge plus when you don't want bugs in your limited living space. Fungus gnats tend to be an issue with a lot of houseplants in smaller homes, but I found that Pileas don't attract them much, especially if you let the soil dry out properly. Now here's the fun part. This plant is a giver. Pileas produce little baby offshoots known as pups from the base or even from the roots under the soil. You'll often see these little sprouts popping up around the main plant. You can leave them be, or you can separate them and repot them, which means one Pilea can turn into many over time. So even if you only have space for one plant, you're getting a growing collection. And these pups make perfect gifts. I like to think of them as the plant equivalent of sourdough starter, something you can keep sharing with friends, family, or other plant lovers. If you're living tiny, you're probably already thinking in terms of sustainability and self-sufficiency. And Pileas fit beautifully into that lifestyle. Let's say you live in a van, a cabin, or even a small apartment with limited climate control. Pileas can handle a pretty wide range of conditions. They don't like extreme heat or cold, but if your space is comfortable for you, it's probably fine for the plant too. Another cool thing, Pileas are non-toxic to pets, so if you're living tiny with a cat or a dog, this plant is safe to keep around. That's a huge deal when floor space is shared with your furry roommates. Now, I do want to point out one small thing, literally. Over time, the bottom leaves of the Pilea will naturally fall off, and the plant can get a little leggy. But that's actually not a bad thing. A taller Pilea can be styled like a mini tree, and you can always prune it back or repot the pups to keep the bushy look going. So to wrap it up, here's why I think the Pilea peperomioides is the perfect tiny home plant. It's compact and space-efficient. It's stylish and plays well with any design. It's low maintenance and beginner-friendly. It adapts to different light conditions. It gives you free plants to share or grow. And it's safe for pets. If you're starting a plant collection in your tiny space, or just looking to add one new friend, the Pilea is my top pick. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this helpful, give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments. What's your favorite plant for small spaces? And if you've got a Pilea, I want to know how yours is doing. Don't forget to subscribe for more plant content and tiny living tips every week. See you in the next one.